Hi, my name is Pham, and welcome to the first ever Pham Showcase, where I get to talk about issues happening over the world where I don't think are necessarily being brought on about. And this is also a place where I get to show off some amazing people that I met in my life. And today, I get to choose on interviewing Tyra Lewis, who's also known as Goldielxcs. Now, little backstory on her: she is from Dallas, Texas, right? Okay. Now, she what's it called? She is as you would say, a rising star. But in my opinion, I feel like that she's definitely getting to a place where she's going to be submitted into one of Tulsa's main artists because of so much that she has done for not just for music but also for the community within Tulsa. Now, another thing to show off some of her musical talents, she has performed in Tulsa's own Vanguard, which is a long time music venue that's been going on for a long time. She has also performed in Dreamland, which is one of the music festivals that we have in Tulsa, and including she has performed in a comedy special, specifically Apache's Thunderbolt special. Now, not only is she this amazing artist, but she is also the nonprofit's Tulsa Creative Engines operations and productions coordinator. And now this is a nonprofit that's kind of designed to nurture championing artists and musicians as entrepreneurs and with the values of community, diversity, artistic expression, and so on. So before we kind of dive in, before your question of your career journey, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Today it's a little gloomy outside, so kind of has me feeling, like I said, lethargic, but I think as the day progresses and the night goes on, I'll be good.
Awesome. So great to hear that. Now, the first question I want to ask about is, how would you describe your journey to start as a musician / online content creator and then eventually join the Tulsa Creative Engine?
So I feel like this question is very long-winded, my response, because it's been a journey, right? I've probably been creating music for 10 to 12 years. I started in middle school, posting covers on YouTube. Then in high school, moved to SoundCloud. That started getting traction. And then I just always kind of did it for fun, I like to create, so I did that. And then as time went on, I just knew I just had a passion for singing, wanting to make music, write songs. And then I guess we could fast forward to I moved to Tulsa about 3 years ago just to kind of do something different, change my life. I was working a remote job, so it gave me the opportunity to kind of be flexible with my location. And I was still doing music. Tulsa has been very good about being supportive in creating spaces for people to perform, and the people have been really supportive. So I started doing open mics and getting a lot of good feedback, and that gave me the opportunity to share my work. And then I started viewing myself differently, maybe I am an artist, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so as I started getting traction with that, I kept creating, and then I started getting asked to do shows. And then through that process, I was going through, basically just creating. And I started going to a bunch of Tulsa Creative Engine frequency events. So I was meeting people. And
before we move on, what is a frequency event?
Okay, so frequency is a program that is hosted. It has changed over time, since I've been a part of it, but the goal was to have basically people, artists come meet up, and it's a mixer. So there'd be free drinks, a DJ, and literally you just come, hang out, and meet new people. That was the goal. Right.
So it's definitely a place for artists and entrepreneurs who do networking, right?
Networking, yes, in a lax, fun environment. You know what I'm saying?
Cool,
you got a brew in your hand, and it's a fun time, right? So those were every month, on the last Friday or something. So I started going to those, and then got familiar with the organization. And then so I've always had it on the back burner, man, I kind of want to work for them. It seems cool if this is a job.
Yeah.
If this is a job.
Yeah. Quick question. Was there a certain person in the Tulsa Creative Engine that was kind of helping you lead into that transition?
Yes. So specifically, there was an event called Ground Waves, and it was an open mic hip hop event. And I reached out to someone like, hey, is there any place that does like R&B or hip hop open mics? So someone sent me the flyer for that. And this was the first one ever. So I was like, okay, let me check it out. And it was at Skyline Mansion. And it was hosted by MERS, and it's called Ground Waves. So I went with a friend, and I was like, I wonder, do they allow people to sing? Because it was called a hip hop open mic.
Oh, okay.
So there was a lady standing next to the sign-up sheet, and I was like, hey, do you know if like women can sign up? Like, can I sing? And she was like, let me ask MERS, but I think so. So then we're all talking, and she was like, I think it's fine, you should sign up. And I was like, I'm scared. Because I was still new here, and I had never performed yet, like in Tulsa.
Oh, so this would have been your first time ever performing?
Debut.
Oh my God.
So
okay.
I was like, man, I actually just had like released an EP like on SoundCloud, like for myself, right? And I was like, I have my MP3s. And I was like, I was so nervous because I've always struggled with like stage fright. So I'm like, should I do it? So I just put my name and then like ran away, right? I was like, all right, if they get to me,
they get to me.
It's
gonna happen. Okay.
And like, I texted my brother. That's who I ended up moving here with first. And I was like, hey, I just signed up for this open mic. I think I might perform. Yeah. So like, him and my sister-in-law pull up, and like, I end up performing the song. It's called Jaded. And like, everyone was like, and I was like, no way. So like, after that, that's kind of what like started the journey of like, I should share my music with people. And the lady that like told me to sign up, that was Bianca, who is the director of Tulsa Creative Engine. But I had no idea. I just thought she was like just there working
like
the
helping
list.
out or something like that.
But she was a part whole time. And so after I was done, she was like, I'm so glad you did that. Like, great. Because I was also like one of the only females who performed.
Oh, wow.
Because it was a new thing. And then, you know, they were advertising hip hop. So it's like, then I'm singing my little slow, sad song, but I got a lot of good feedback, and I did like the next few after that because they were doing them like every month. And then just long story short, like meeting Bianca there, like intentionally, I was like, oh my gosh, that lady was so cool. So then when I saw her again at like a frequency, I was like, oh my gosh, like. You know what I'm saying? That's you. Okay. So I would just chat with her when I would see her around, and then told her like, wow, this is a cool org. If y'all ever need help, let me know. So, I mean, a year and a half goes by. I'm still just participating in events and stuff. And the solar company I was working for got shut down because it was like bought out and like just a bunch of corporate stuff. And so didn't have a job for like... almost 2 months. I got severance though. But in that meantime, I was like looking for places, and I followed up with Bianca. I was like, hey, you know, just it's me again. I was like, if y'all do need people still, I'm still in the loop. And then she hit me back like, actually, we do. Like, you know, positions are moving around. I'll need help with the org. So like, what are your skills? And so I've always had like admin skills. Like working the solar company, it was like... basically like an escalations team. So like I'd be talking to like operations managers, like trying to help them fix projects. So I've had like these types of skills in like organization. So
so it's like a lot of like project management somewhat, right?
Yes, that's what it was. It was called the pipeline coordinator, but that's really what we were doing, getting projects out of the pipeline to completion. So so I was like, no way, because she was like, you would basically do like kind of like admin support and help with the programs, like production. So now my role is operations and production coordinator, and I've worked with CCE now, I think it's 2 years, like this will be 2 years, and so it's been great.
Man, that is very impressive.
It's been long-winded, but like you know there's like levels to this. For sure.
I'm like, man, that is very, very creative, because like not creative, but like kind of inspiring, because like again, TCE, it does seem kind of like intimidating a little bit, right? But at the same time, but for you just to be able to go up and pretty much just ask to see if there's any openings, is you know, a lot of people don't do that anymore, and so like again, for you to do that is like, again, definitely of yourself kind of taking, your own step
and
to
I
like.
would just say like closed mouths don't get fed, and like that's just how I've always moved in my life. Like nothing's wrong with asking.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because like you never know, and like you don't lose anything.
Exactly. Yeah.
Maybe that's what I'm saying. You gotta like let your pride down a little bit, but like you never will lose anything. I always say like at least I tried. Like when things don't work out, you know what I'm saying? Because I'd rather try and then know versus like being like, man, what if I would have just ever asked her? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Maybe just like this, how I asked you to be my interviewer for today.
And I'm like, yeah, sure. The worst thing I could have said was no. And then you're like, cool. Do you know what I'm saying?
And just move on.
And then now you know. But
Yeah.
like there's nothing wrong with like asking or like shooting your shot, as they say.
Okay, awesome. All right. Now, let's go a little bit to, can you kind of expand a little bit on a little bit more that you do for the operations and productions as the coordinator?
Yeah, so operations and production coordinator, like these days the role has kind of deepened. Like at first it was kind of me like assisting. Now at this point I'm kind of like running the programs.
Okay.
So pretty much I'm the person to liaise with. Like if we're setting up a frequency or like a musical showcase, like I'm reaching out to the artists like, hey, would you be interested? This is what we're doing. Here's a budget. What do you need? Right?
Okay.
And then I'm liaising with the venues like, hey, do y'all have these dates available? What's your rate? And then I even goes to like paying people's invoices like for their rates. And and so on the admin side too, it's like being point of contact most of the time, like when people email us, like now our team has expanded and we do have a few more people, so there's more streamlined process. But at first it kind of was me being like first point of contact, directing people where
so
they
it kind of all went through you is what you're saying.
Yeah. Okay, I'm like not all of it. Like, I don't want to take too much
credit. A lot of it
but
went to you.
Like before we kind of like decided like delegation and roles. Basically being like Bianca's like second hand. Second man. Like, hey, like if you can't get to her, follow through with me, or then I relay back the message. And these days it's more of like, since I kind of more familiar with like what we're doing, and like I try to take on more responsibility just because like I care,
Yeah. Now that I'm gonna say this now, but that seems even more impressive because while you're explaining that, it kind of does seem like that you kind of instantly became a support system or the support for the organization itself.
Yeah.
Well, like most people are kind of like, I'm gonna ease into it and then see what I can help. But for you kind of went ahead and kind of explored like what kind of responsibilities I could have, what can I do to make it more streamlined. So like that is again very impressive and a initiative that a lot of people will not take, which again I feel like should be.
And I feel like I have to as well because I asked for this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I want to do a good job, and the org is still pretty small, and like with the right people we have on the team, and like as more people are starting to be aware of us, even like other orgs being able to help us and we help them, like I want us to grow, and like what I'm saying, like, and I want to be a big like asset as well because it's such a small thing, and it's like it's a real fun creative job that I'm like grateful for because like being a nonprofit, I still like I'm a part of the community, and then I'm like helping the community. Like it's a really cool thing.
Again, I see it as a very awesome kind of like a duty kind of job, but not really. Where like not only do you get to help people grow, kind of nurture them, but at the same time you get to do a great mission and get paid for it. So like
that's rare.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's rare.
It's so rare, and that's why like I'm so blessed because of that. Like you know what I'm saying? Like yes, we do get paid for it, and that's why I choose to care because it's like okay, yeah, they are compensating me for my time, and so it's like just a blessing on blessing because a lot of nonprofits don't have the ability to consistently like pay members or people like that. So it definitely helps, and I feel like keeps me active and like caring about the other things.
Awesome. All right, thank you so much for that info. All right, now we're gonna be moving on to kind of talking more about kind of the impact of technology, specifically the implementation that social media is kind of a necessity in order for a person to show off their creativeness, their art. What is your thoughts on it for how social media is kind of necessary to be a potential career?
I have so many mixed emotions about social media and the use of social media because it's bittersweet. It's like a blessing and a curse, double-edged sword, because it's so great that you can use it to connect with people all across the world. It's great that you can literally put something out and like it can gain access, millions of people, thousands of people. But at the same time, because everything is so accessible, I feel like there's sometimes maybe too much content, so some stuff gets buried. Or now, as a creative, you're always trying to compete with the next thing. Even if you're not, there is still like this layer, like, well, man, there's all this good content and mine is not up to par. So now do you spend more time making your content in this eye that people are used to seeing? Like, good quality, real format, captions, And so as a creative, it's hard to do all of that. Because, like, I create the thing. Like, I create the song. I kind of don't want to do all the other things. Like, now I have to make a video. Now I need to make a cool post. And so sometimes it takes away from the creativity of the original thing, or it kind of jades you. Like, I kind of don't even want to share this because maybe it's not good enough, or there's a bunch of these, like, censored second thoughts, right? And so, like, for me, being an artist, you want to advertise yourself, because how are people gonna know, right? Honestly, like, unless you're like really handing out flyers and like on the street, like, like old school, like handing out CDs, like social media is just an easier way for people to access you with like minimal effort on the like the front end. Like, I can just post something right now and be like, drop the song, you know what I'm saying? I don't have to like go out into the streets, but at the same time, so is everybody else. So it's kind of like what makes you unique, what makes you different. I don't know. There's just so many mixed emotions like, about it, but
like factors
it is necessary though, and that's kind of the sucky part, because like you kind of have to be on social media, being a creative or being anybody who wants to share something on like a larger scale.
Now, kind of touching back with like the technology and like saying like posts, and there's just so many. There was recently a study that came up where the algorithms were mostly trying to put in content that is similar to something else, where like they use the same song over and over and over again.
Have you seen that dance? I can't get away from it. I'm like, stop,
it's so,
I find it hard to do. So, yes, right? But, like, I'm not looking for that, But what were you going to say? I'm sorry. That's just what came to mind, because literally, like, that's the algorithm right now, because that's what's, like, trending.
And I don't know why, but...
we do one right here.
Exactly. I'll just film one later. But like, what's it called? But it's the fact that like the algorithm is kind of designed to showcase content that is always similar to something else, and it's not like necessarily unique in itself. Like always using the same audio file as like the next 10,000 songs, or same picture, stuff like that. Do you think that the algorithms are kind of the low-key number one obstacle for new? Okay.
Yeah, no, I do. And that's what sucks, because, like, it's happening on its own. Like, you're not doing that. Like, I really wish Instagram was, like, kind of like Twitter, how you can be, like, show me most recent posts first. Not whatever you want to show me. And, like, I think it's too much work to, like, I think Instagram, you can do like a favorites, and it's like basically
like you
can curate who is on your feed. That's too much work. I follow like 1,000 people because I'm like team follow back. You know what I'm saying? So I wish I could just see most recent posts, so that like, me getting on Instagram right now, I want to see what's happening right now. Like, I don't want to see what's happening from 3 days ago because I wasn't on. Like, that's why I'm getting on right now. And so like what sucks about algorithm is like, yeah, we don't control that. That's like Instagram data analyst. Like, it's above us.
It's just a machine, essentially, sometimes, too.
And then it's a bunch of things that go into algorithm, like your history in your own phone, the things you've looked up on Instagram and other websites. Like, there's a bunch of these AIs like working
just
together.
Looking into you, yeah.
And so like you watch something once, now it's like, oh yeah, you like this banana pudding video, we're gonna show you all these random banana recipes, and it's like, didn't ask for that. But yeah, I think that's one of the big competitors in like being a creator or even getting your own stuff out there, because algorithm is like burying your stuff unless it already has numbers or unless you use the trendy song. So by default, you're gonna like follow trends to get your own stuff out there.
Yeah, and doing that doesn't seem authentic anymore.
It's not. It's so not. That's what I'm saying. Like, everything's kind of the same. Like, you know, and nothing's wrong with like, you know, the viral dances, but it's like that's the content. So then there's like, you know, as a musician, like, okay, if I like post something cool, like now you're thinking like, okay, well, how can this reach people? So maybe let me make something using like my song but adding the trendy dance. Like, you're trying to make your work fit what people are into, and that's not even what people are into. It's just because it's trendy, you know? Yeah, it's like it's bigger than me. It's bigger than me. Yeah, we can answer this today. Like, it's way bigger than us.
Again, thank you so much for your input on how like social media, while it does, you know, enhances a person's like potential to be, you know, creative and be out there, there's so many things along with it that kind of keeps the person down as well. So again, thank you so much for that input.
Double-edged sword.
Double-edged sword. Sure. All right. Now we're going to be moving on to some ethical considerations. Now, the first thing we're going to be talking about is kind of copying a post, copying a format. Now, is that kind of you see as stealing or inspiration? Because, you know, a lot of people like use, you know, snippets from songs, or use like a simple, like a certain beat to use an entire song, you know? Like,
I think I wouldn't call. So I feel like that's kind of double-edged sword too, because nothing is wrong with being inspired. I think if you pay your dues, right? You know what I'm saying? There's so many artists that I've found because they were recommended through algorithm, like Spotify, like recommended artists because you listen to this song. And then I found a bunch of good artists and a bunch of good songs similar to like someone I was already listening to, and I'm like, I like this, right? And so I'm like, oh, but they do kind of sound like, but at the same time, I feel like you can kind of tell if it's authentic. Like a lot of similar artists, like they'll have like a similar song, then I'll go through their discography and I'm like, oh no, they do have their own kind of vibe, or they talk about their own things. But nothing is wrong with being inspired. I think as long as that person like knows that like they were inspired by someone, either by like mentioning it or I don't know, like that's a hard one.
I think the important thing to take away is that as long that credit is being returned, like
don't act like you invented this or started it, like, and then obviously every song you're not gonna have like an outro like, well, like I actually got this blah 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 blah. But if anybody ever asks, or you know, if you're talking about your own work, like don't lie or don't act like you kind of made this up. Like say you were inspired by someone, or like, you know, I saw so and so doing this and I loved it. Like nothing's wrong, and that's how I feel like that's where it becomes stealing, because I feel like a lot of people don't try to give credit where it's due if, you know, they like stole the swag or whatever. But these days, like sometimes I use Splice to make beats, and Splice has a bunch of royalty-free beats that you can use. So someone else might have the same little sample, right? But it's how you use it and how you create it with your own taste. You know what I'm saying? Instead of like replicating like the same thing. But I will also say, these days, because stuff is so trendy, like a lot of songs are gonna sound the same because people are using the same format. Then I feel like at that point, that's when it's like, where's originality lying, and then where's like, who's the inspiration now?
Like how like kind of like a while back ago where we had like where if it was a song featuring a rap, that it always went through the same structure where music, rap part, a little bit of music, and that, and then like, you know, and listen to that always a couple of times, it kind of always kind of meshes together, and so like it doesn't feel like it would be a song anymore that you would like to, you know, listen to. So again, thank you so much for that like description on how you know describe, you know, either inspiration or stimulation.
Drake. So love Drake. You know, I still listen to Drake's music. Hold on, but Drake does this thing where like something's popular and he takes it and does like a song or a feature, and then he's now like that icon for that thing, even though he didn't start it. But it's like because he has the name and the brand behind him, like
it's easy for him to be push, connected to it. Okay,
and to push it, even though he didn't start it, but he's getting all the credit. That's when it's like, that sucks.
Yeah, damn. This is a good thing I don't have that great feelings about Drake anyway.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, you know, we move on. He still has billions of dollars.
Yeah,
like, and I'm
chilling.
Yeah,
he's in his
he doesn't care.
$1 billion mansion.
That, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He has other things to worry about.
The economy.
The economy. Or what was it called? Being called a pedophile in the Super Bowl.
You know, and then we all have to just be like, they're not like us.
They're not like us.
But yes.
Okay, cool. Now, moving on to the second question in this category. Now, do you think, is there any loss of heart or passion if it's completely made by a computer where like no instruments were picked up at all? Maybe they use a voice, you know, to record the lyrics, but that's about it. Like everything was digitalized.
No, I don't think that there's a loss of like passion or anything, depending on the purpose of the song, right? Because I know a bunch of people who just produce on their computer, but like the song is good because they like worked on it. To me, I feel like it loses passion when there's all this fast music that's made just to put something because it's trendy.
Oh, okay.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Okay,
like,
so it's more about the effort that they put into developing what it was on the computer than rather like kind of copying the trends that was happening.
Once again, like it's the trends and everything. So yeah, like let's say, okay, like Glorilla, right? Like there's a bunch of mainstream artists that I don't listen to just because it all sounds the same, right? But for example, she comes out, then like now a bunch of female rappers sound like that, and it's that like that rap punchline that they do. I can't even repeat it.
Kind of similar to when Cardi B debuted, and then a lot of other like
even
female.
like Megan. So like now a bunch of people kind of copy their recipe and flow, and so now I feel like that's when it's just a bunch of fast music because it's meant to sound like someone else. So I feel like that's when there's no passion. Because like you're creating just to create to be like someone else, you know. And I mean, maybe you are inspired and you do feel passionate about this song that you wrote, but because I feel like you kind of like jacked someone else's whole flow, whole recipe, I feel like that passion is lost a little bit. Even if you still have it, like I feel like that's where art is really made, when you take the time to like do your own thing or explore your own voice, or you know.
You put it extremely beautiful.
Really? Oh my gosh, stop. I'm like, I'm passionate about this. Yeah.
Oh, now the last one is kind of quick and simple, but because, you know, online is, you know, a dangerous place. It's a double-edged sword, you know. What is, like, kind of your response to, like, when somebody, like, will take online to, like, badmouth you? Because, you know, it happens all the time now.
Are you saying like to me personally, or like bad-mouthing other people?
Like, what's it called? Either, no, let's do you personally, right? Like they're trying to attack your brand and stuff like that. Like, what's it called? Their music is uninspiring or unoriginal, or what's it called? Or any of those kind of topics.
Like if I was being told that in like a comment or something?
Oh, yeah, being
like,
told that in a comment, or someone made their own post saying all these kind of things. Like, how would you deal with that kind of situation?
So honestly, I don't do like cyberbullying. I don't partake in it. And it's to the point where stuff like that, like I will block you. I will block you, like
it's plain and simple.
Like, and you know, like if I need to report the post, but that's when you have to be confident in your own self. Like, no, I'm doing what I want to do with my art. And I feel like there's layers to that, right? Like, that's why you have to be confident in yourself and like being okay with what you put out, because that's why you put it out there, to be perceived. So people are going to have opinions regardless, and I feel like that's what comes with like wanting to share your work. Not everybody's going to like it. Some people might think it's trash, you know, but you have to be okay with that. But if someone is saying something, like if you care that much, like, okay, well, what's your feedback then? What's your constructive criticism? If it's bad, how can it be better then? Okay. Can you do it? Do you know what I'm saying?
Damn.
So like,
yeah.
Can you do it?
Can you be like me, essentially?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I feel like that's, you know, what that's going to be. And that's why it's kind of scary, like, if you do become famous, or people that become famous, because now you are being perceived. And, like, you have fans, and then you have people that are haters, and you have people who are like, I don't like this. And you have to deal with all of it. So sometimes, I mean, that's why, like, you want the love to be greater than, you know, the latter. But it's just something that comes with it. And, you know, I haven't experienced that yet. But, I mean, I think sometimes it's good to have haters, because that means that you're kind of doing something that's, like, shaking up a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, you're getting people, you know, shook. And, I mean, I don't know. People could be talking about my music, but, like, I've never heard it to my face. But, you know what I'm saying? But
also, by the way, if you guys are wondering what kind of music that she does pull out, it's more hip-hop, R&B, but I will let you know that the way I see it so uniquely is that a lot of her songs still kind of slow, but for some reason it kind of draws you in, and it makes you like just nod your head like subconsciously. Like, I swear, like, I'll be listening to one of her new songs and I wouldn't know about it, and then all of a sudden I'm like ad-libbing to the end of it. Like,
so okay, I will say I'm calling it mantra wave. Mantra wave, because you know how it's kind of like that repetitive kind of, like, I feel like when I'm making it, I'm in some sort of like trance. Yes.
Okay.
And so then I
Dude,
also
you really are putting people in trances. I'm gonna say that right now.
I also say it's like sad hype. Like, I can like kind of twerk but like cry at the same time, because there's like, I always have like a bass line. Like, you need a bass, and then get a good bass line, and you can put anything over it. Sing, sad, rap, like, you know. But yeah, anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Again, that's the kind of music that she puts out. Again, she's on Spotify, she's on Apple Music, bro. Go check it out. I swear, you're gonna do yourself a favor.
YouTube.
Oh, by the way, not only is she, you know, being recognized in ENOS for like your music being like listening in Spotify, you know, all over the country, she's also getting a rising fan base in the UK, right?
Oh my gosh. So yes, the thing is like, I was, and then it wasn't consistent, but because of the rising fan base, I actually took a trip to London last week, not lying, and it was crazy. It was very inspiring, but sometimes I feel like you have to like send it, right? Like, okay, what's going on out here?
Yeah. Again, I actually did want to talk to you a little bit about your
on the record or off the record.
We'll do it off the record.
Okay, because I was like, we can go hard about it.
Yeah. It's called no. That was pretty much it that I have for my ethical considerations. Now, the last topic I really have to talk about is notable trends that are kind of happening in music or the online space. And I feel like we definitely touch a lot of those during this interview. What is definitely like the trend that you would like to happen more, and a trend that you would want to just stop?
I hate trends.
Just trends in general.
Trends in general must be stopped.
Okay.
But I don't know, like, as far as I don't know. Like, I don't know how to really answer that question, because it's like maybe more, I feel like more of what I want to see is like maybe people actually supporting people more in a more authentic way, not just because like you're doing something for me, I'm doing something for you, just kind of like, hey, I genuinely like this, like, let me share it. That should be a trend. I feel like maybe the trend of trying to recreate other people's art just so you can get your own clout, like maybe bring originality back, should be a trend.
Like add something completely different from like the old video to make it like your own.
You know, maybe the trend is to like stop being trendy, so like the algorithm can stop making stuff trendy.
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know if I truly answered that, but maybe just I don't know.
Again, it was a really difficult question to answer.
Yeah, it is, because I'm like, oh man, there's so many trends. Like, you could go like so many
forever,
ways.
Yeah.
but I think trends do get people involved. Like, what's going on? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even like my mom's on TikTok. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think she's dancing on there, but you know what I'm saying? Like, at least trends help people be like relatable to what's kind of happening, or like the new songs, or the new dance. Like, you know, we have to make one of those.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That was my interview with the lovely Tyra Lewis, also known as Goldielxcs. Now, again, you need to listen to her music. It's amazing. It'll change your life. No, well, you know, it'll do you some good.
It will change your life.
Yeah, it'll do you some good. Oh, I forgot to mention, when I was talking about how she was really involved with the communities, but not only is she in the Tulsa Creative Engine, but her herself sets up her own events for the community, such as the skate dates, correct?
Yes. Oh my gosh, I wish she was looking at the camera. I'm like, is it still on? Imagine if it wasn't.
I just forgot. I got this.
Yeah, so skate date. So I roller skate, and I wanted to create a community where we could just skate for fun as like a group together, because a lot of people don't roller skate or feel like they don't have people to do it with. And I did my first one last June, because June is National Go Skateboarding Day, so obviously it's male dominated. So I was like, come on girls, let's like do like a skate day. So then I just kept them going. And it was kind of a brief period, because I did it throughout the summer until winter. So actually, my next one will be May 13th, working on a flyer. But I want to start them back again for like probably the hot months. Like if I'm going to do it like annually, like
not something
summer.
so gloomy right now.
Yeah, because this is not, I wouldn't come outside, you know?
Again, we are in the park. We're at the gathering place.
Yeah.
Or we are inside. So.
Where we gather.
But
so skate dates, that's something for fun, and it's free, and I provide like snacks and drinks, and so this one's gonna be at McClure Park. Might start bringing a little booze, maybe, you know, start IDing everybody, but I'm a bartender too, so.
Awesome. Well, that concludes this interview. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm so glad I could do this.
Thank you so much. Again, you're
like
such an angel, I swear to God. Hi, this is just some quick little reflection over the interview that we have with Tyra Lewis, and huge thanks again to her, because she provided such amazing insight on what it's like to have a career in online content creation, as well as her community work with the Tulsa Creative Engine. It is just an amazing and inspiring story that she kind of showcased out in this interview. And again, check her out. She's known as Goldielxcs on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, she's on everything, okay? So check her out. Again, this was an amazing interview, definitely to dive into the issues and challenges that online content creators will have to face, and as well as some of the trends and like algorithms that are kind of designed to like help people find your people, or the same things are kind of pushing your content back, because it's not, content to reaching the overall audience. And that just sucks. And also how, Tyra, speaking back on her career journey, after she was let go from her remote job and was looking for something to support herself, she was able to find the best program for her, essentially, just by asking around, doing some research. She definitely went after the opportunities and letting them come to her, which I thought was an amazing thing to do. And especially taking initiative in this day and age is becoming more rare than usual, which is very sad to see. So again, what an amazing person Tyra is. And again, I hope you guys enjoy this little interview that I have. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Goodbye.